Kenn Dahl had never been in an accident. He had a clean driving record. In 2022, his auto insurance premium jumped by 21%. When he asked why, an agent told him to request his LexisNexis Consumer Disclosure Report. What arrived was 258 pages, 640 trips, start time, end time, distance. Every instance of hard braking, every acceleration his Chevrolet Bolt had logged over months of commuting. He had not known any of it was being reported or sold. Somewhere between his dashboard and his insurer, the price of his coverage had already been decided for him. This is not about one driver or one automaker. In September 2023, the Mozilla Foundation reviewed 25 major car brands sold in America. All 25 failed. It was the first time in the guide's 7-year history that every product in a category earned a failing grade. Connected features are sold as modern conveniences: navigation, remote start, safety monitoring, smart driving coaching. Sounds reasonable until you look at the privacy policies. Mozilla spent 600 hours reading for its 2023 investigation. Nissan's U.S. privacy policy lists immigration status, sexual orientation, sexual activity, health diagnosis data, and genetic information. General Motors and Ford both reference race and sexual orientation. Kia's policy includes references to sex life. These are manufacturers describing their own practices in documents they are legally required to publish. The sensors are not subtle. Cameras, microphones, accelerometers, touchscreens, paired phones, dealer-installed apps. Tesla's own developer documentation lists vehicle telemetry transmitted as frequently as every 500 milliseconds. And the FTC's January 2026 consent order against General Motors stated the company collected precise geolocation data in the agency's own words, sometimes every 3 seconds. 3 seconds. Every trip, every route, for years. Of Mozilla's 25 automakers, 84% stated they can share your personal data. 92% do not let you delete it. Only 2 brands, Renault and Dacia, both sold exclusively in the European Union under GDPR, allow full deletion. In the United States, the right to delete your own driving history from a manufacturer's servers largely does not exist. Collection is only the first step. The data moves, is bought, is resold. The buyer isn't the manufacturer. The 2 companies are LexisNexis Risk Solutions and Verisk Analytics. Consumer reporting agencies like credit bureaus, except what they compile is a dossier on how you drive. They buy it from your automaker. They sell it to your insurance company. And the insurance company uses it to set, raise, or cancel your rate. GM had been selling Kenn Dahl's data through OnStar's Smart Driver feature to LexisNexis and Verisk, which repackaged it as a driving behavior data history report and sold it to auto insurers. One trip of Dahl's, a 7-mile drive, was flagged for 2 rapid accelerations and 2 hard braking events. Accidents, 0. Claims, 0. Rate increase, 21%. Usage-based insurance is marketed as a discount for safe drivers. That changes when you see what Senators Ron Wyden and Ed Markey uncovered. In July 2024, the senators wrote to the FTC that Hyundai had sold data from 1.7 million cars to Verisk for just over $1 million, roughly 61 cents per car. Honda sold data from 97,000 cars for $25,920, about 26 cents per car. GM had sold data from 8 million cars, a practice dating back to 2015. 61 cents. That is what your driving history is worth to the manufacturer you paid $40,000. In January 2025, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton filed the first enforcement action ever brought under a state comprehensive privacy law against Allstate and its subsidiary Arity for building what Arity called the world's largest driving behavior database. 45 million Americans. Trillions of miles of location data. The complaint says data was captured every 15 seconds or less from 40 million active connections. The tracking software was embedded in apps most phones have, including Life 360, Gas Buddy, Fuel Rewards, and Routely. And the complaint states Allstate recently began purchasing vehicle data directly from Toyota, Lexus, Mazda, Chrysler, Dodge, Fiat, Jeep, Maserati, and Ram. The federal class actions are consolidated in the Northern District of Georgia as MDL 3115. The claims include violations of the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the Federal Wiretap Act. A key detail in the Wyden-Markey letter, GM shared location data on every car with an activated internet connection, whether or not the owner ever enrolled in Smart Driver. The insurance program was the cover story. The location pipeline ran regardless. The most alarming piece is not in a server room. It is in courtrooms, at traffic stops, and in the accounts of people who should not have access to where you have been driving. In April 2024, Senator Wyden's office asked the Alliance for Automotive Innovation, the trade group for every major automaker in the U.S., whether their members require a warrant before sharing location data with law enforcement. Of the 14 automakers surveyed, which were BMW, Ford, GM, Honda, Hyundai, Kia, Mazda, Mercedes-Benz, Nissan, Stellantis, Subaru, Tesla, Toyota, and Volkswagen, only 5 said yes: GM, Ford, Honda, Stellantis, and Tesla. The other 9 confirmed they will hand your location history over in response to a subpoena. In Nissan's own phrasing, that includes any valid compulsory process. A category privacy experts told Wyden's office could mean virtually anything. And of those 14, only 1, Tesla, notifies the owner when the government has asked for their data. Remember those Mozilla categories? Immigration status, sexual orientation, health, genetic data? That stopped being academic in July 2024. Wyden and Markey wrote to the FTC warning that after the Supreme Court's Dobbs decision, connected vehicle location data could be used to prosecute Americans who cross state lines for reproductive health care. They also noted vehicle location data has already been exploited by abusive partners to track domestic violence victims. The FTC's consent order against GM, finalized in January 2026, runs for 20 years. It requires affirmative express consent, a 5-year ban on sharing driver behavior data with consumer reporting agencies, and deletion of previously collected driver data. In the agency's own words, GM's conduct was an egregious betrayal of consumers' trust. But the order has no power over data already sold. The information LexisNexis and Verisk bought between 2015 and 2024 lives in their systems. The insurance quote built on that data was already run. The rate has already been paid. A 2026 consent order cannot retrieve a 2021 spreadsheet from a server farm in Atlanta. Where does your driving data go? It goes to insurers who raise your rates before you know they have it. It goes to law enforcement without a warrant or notice in 9 of 14 major brands sold in this country. It goes to anyone with a subpoena and a reason. And once it goes, it does not come back. Modern vehicles are surveillance platforms with steering wheels. Every major manufacturer decided that your vehicle's data was more valuable than their relationship with you. You are not purchasing transportation. You are purchasing a 4-wheeled data collection device that happens to move you. There are concrete steps that matter. Request your LexisNexis and Verisk consumer disclosure reports. Both are free under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. In any connected vehicle app, disable driving insights, Smart Driver, and usage-based scoring. Revoke every data sharing permission in your apps. Before you sign a purchase agreement, ask the dealer in writing: is driver data shared with consumer reporting agencies? Is a warrant required before location data is released to law enforcement? Watch which answers come back and which ones do not. Support privacy legislation that would require opt-in consent and warrant protections across every automaker, because the car in your driveway already knows where you have been. The only question left is who else is allowed to find out.